Hey everybody, welcome to the O365 Pulse. We're joining you from Nottingham today. As you can see, the Microsoft Teams backgrounds are in the rolling out stage or the launch stage, so you should see them soon, as we have decided to join you all from the same medieval location. We stopped short of putting on our Renaissance closing, but maybe next time, we'll have a pretty short show today, not a whole lot of things going on, but I made it my goal today to not steal all of Tom's thunder. So I am going to first pass it over to Tom, and he can talk to us about in development. So Tom, what you can start us out, kick us off with what's going on in development.
I wasn't ready for this. Now I'm speechless. Well, other than the fact that we now have backgrounds that have apparently rolled out to most clients, so that's in development and in probably rolling out or launched, which we'll talk about later. A couple more things that I've seen that look interesting. In Microsoft Teams, they have in development right now a hand raising in Teams meetings, which basically you've probably seen this like in Skype meetings or other meetings where somebody says, hey, I have a question. Rather than just trying to blurt it out, they do the little hand raise icon and the moderator can go ahead and call on them at that point. So that is in development. You should see that one rolling out fairly soon, I would think. A couple other things that just kind of hit my attention here. For SharePoint List, there's a new hyperlink field editor coming in Quick Edit. So this is going to remove the former iframe experience that they've got out there. It'll give it more of the modern look and feel. Also, they're having a new calendar picker, which uses Fabric. Is it?
This is huge.
I'm sure you've probably seen this, but I'm looking forward to this. So
yes, I'm so excited about this.
Adam's like, they get excited about the stupid.
That was just so high pitched.
Glasses are breaking in the castle that's over our shoulder.
Calendar experience. Yes, they're replacing the legacy calendar controls. This is huge, y'all. Huge.
And just a couple more here that I'll do, and then I can roll it out to high pitched Jennifer and Knight Adam here.
A couple more. There's only like 7 things on the list. I think you've just named them all.
Well, I was going to do the Outlook on the web thing where they've got support for rich text for tasks.
Yeah.
So now when you're putting tasks out there, you're not just stuck with it taking something that looks really nice when you paste it in and turning it into straight text, which loses a lot of the context at that point. You're now going to be able to have rich text formatting in the different tasks that you have out there. Plus, you'll be able to have the ability to view and assign categories to tasks, which I think is really important if you're trying to say, I've got a group of 50 things out there. Like what I'll do is when I see the weekly message center for things coming out, I'll turn those into tasks so they'll pop up on the due date so I can look at them and do Spark 1 tips and stuff like that. Well, the problem is my to-do list has like 55 items in it. Only the last 4 are ones that I have to do on a daily basis. So doing this categorization, I think, is going to be really nice for me to be able to, segment those out, but still be able to use the task list to follow up on these things when they apparently are supposed to roll out. So good stuff.
Cool. Yeah. So nothing really beyond that. The thing that they have besides that is download a participation report inside of a Teams meeting, so you can see who's coming to the Teams meetings. That's going to be great for like classrooms and different things like that, as well as increase the number of simultaneous videos in a Teams meeting from 4 to 9. So that means instead of showing 4 faces on the screen of videos that are going, they're going to show 9. So it'll be a little bit more Brady Bunch. So we get more of the family showing than just the 4 of the 4 top people that are talking. So that's good. I'm excited about that. Still not the 45 that Zoom shows, but we can securely show 9. So excited about that. And then also administrators can, or team meeting administrators can easily change meeting settings inside of the meeting. So change presenter settings and stuff like that once the meeting has started. So I think that's pretty much it in the in development. Adam, did you see anything in development that was that you wanted to mention, or did you want to move to rolling out?
Sure, I'll throw one out there.
Okay.
So one kind of admin-y one that I thought was kind of cool. So they're basically working on a new compliance label that, for lack of a better term, is more comprehensive or more strict than the current ones that exist out there. They're doing what they're basically calling regulatory records. So rather than a default sensitive label type that you can do in the normal system that everyone's aware with right now, these regulatory records are basically going to be targeted for certain stringent compliance standards. The one example they use is worm standards if you're for a FINRA customer. What a worm record is doesn't really matter too much. All you really need to know is with the worm record, it's literally required that it's tamper-proof. There's basically, if a record is a worm record, it can't be changed in any way, shape, or form. And so they are basically making a new label that if you apply this to a file, it's kind of locking the file down, but on top of that, doing more than just having a sensitivity label. If you were to create a sensitivity label and say, I want to go through and look for financial data, that would classify that as financial data, but you would then have the ability as an admin to dictate what your users can do with it. These new regulatory labels or regulatory records are going to have their stuff defined of what you can and can't do to meet these stringent regulatory requirements. And you'll basically say, okay, we want to apply this label and then match whatever you need to do as far as a admin or a compliance standpoint. From the security side, this is pretty cool. Nice to see it coming. Worm is one example. I imagine this will expand out to meet some of the different DoD and financial and HIPAA and stuff like that records where they have very specific things you can do. And really, you could do all this before if you knew what you were doing as an admin. This is just a way to make it, idiot proof, even if you don't know if you're doing what you're an admin.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, then moving on to rolling out, let's be honest, there's not a lot in here. Today, we already talked about the team's background. So the background effects in Teams, we get around, I think 9 or 10 default background images. You can go to space, you can go to medieval villages, you can go to a bunch of balloons, you can go to a couple of different office spaces. There are a few hacks online that Tom's already found that will let you upload your own images. I would recommend you wait until Microsoft around May. They're going to come and let you upload and manage your own custom backgrounds. But there you have it. You can do those. That's coming in May, where you can do your own custom backgrounds. So that should be rolling out to everyone's tenants now. This is one, I did not have this feature yesterday, but I woke up this morning and I had it. So if you don't have it, you should be having it any day now. So how about rolling out, guys? What else is in rolling out that you guys find interesting?
There's only two things really that didn't qualify as major geeky for Adam. I thought was the Outlook for iOS and Android. They now have a speller in search. So if you're doing a search for something and you type in a typo, it will come, or if you get very few results back, it'll give you some alternative words that you might have meant that didn't look quite right when you typed it in, but hey, here you go. So I think that'll help because you see those kind of things in Gmail and stuff like that. I think that's really cool that that's going to be rolling out here. I'm looking forward to that one.
Awesome. All right, Adam, take it away with the admin-y nerdy stuff.
The only thing I'll mention that I thought was kind of probably noteworthy, the SharePoint migration tool is being updated to be able to allow you to do SharePoint Server 2016 site migrations. So this is a tool that Microsoft does for Fast Track. It is available for admins to go in and access and do your own migrations. It's not the easiest tool to use, and it's somewhat manual site by site, but if you just have 1 or 2 sites to move, it's pretty nice. But I will say again, where I really see this being impactful is for the people that are willing to utilize Fast Track with Microsoft and say, oh, I want to move over my whole site. Well, now if you have SharePoint Server 2016, you can move all your sites.
Cool. Well, moving on to launched, I'll kick us off with one that I think is great for our GCC customers. And this is going to be in the GCC environment. This is going to be SharePoint integrations with Power Automate and Power Apps. So now you can have your SharePoint integration. So list and libraries, you can do forms and applications and stuff like that with Power Automate and Power Apps. So that's exciting, something that people have been waiting for in that environment for quite some time. Now that integration is there. So very excited to see that having launched. That was one of the last pieces I know they were waiting for waiting for there. So I know our team has been excited about that. So.
Just one thing that I saw that kind of really floated my boat, because many of these other things we've all talked about, actually a couple things. One is Microsoft Teams. There's now going to be, and it should be out there, an option to end the meeting for all participants in a team meeting, because I can't tell you how many times I've thought I've been done with a meeting. It's like, where's the recording? Where's the recording? No, this meeting's been going on for 2.5 hours now because one other person has yet to leave the meeting. So now you can basically kick everybody out, call the meeting officially done, and everything will take place at that point. I think that is really cool.
Guilty. I can't tell you how many times I've left a meeting, like not a meeting like if it was just the three of us, but if I'm in a meeting with 200 people and it's lunchtime, but I may go to and stay in the meeting, and then it's 2 hours later and I haven't left the meeting.
Still going on.
So, guilty.
Yeah. There's also one other here for the Service Health Dashboard update. You'll be able to get email notifications when certain things are occurring out there, which is really cool, because then you're in a situation where, hey, something's going on, something's hit, the advisory or incident level, and I can now get email notifications for that rather than constantly having to go out and look at the thing and hit a refresh and the whole bit. So I'm looking forward to that too, and getting signed up so I can start to get those on a timely basis.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think they're adding some new reports to the Security and Compliance Center about compromised users and threat protection and different things like that. So I think those are just continued. I think we've talked about those a few times, but those are just new reports that are going to be coming out to help admins manage that experience a little bit better and easier for them, so they can kind of know what's going on there. Adam, do you have anything else from this launch category?
Yeah, so I have one that's like a personal hooray for me.
Personal hooray! I think it would be a huzzah because we're in Nottingham.
There you go. Somebody's got some Ren Fair background here.
So basically, they are updating for users who don't have E3 or E5. They're going to be updating to have the Security and Compliance Center split into the Security and the Compliance Center. This has been the case for E3 and E5 users for some time, but I cannot tell you how much of a pain it is to be someone who manages multiple different customers' environments and works with them around training and education, for there to be 7 different ways that people go through and do something, and based on who the tenant is or who the users that's going through and accessing, the options that they have are different. I would just absolutely love if everyone had the same experience, and for the last year and a half they have not. And so coming down where they're going to have the actual security and the actual compliance center instead of just the security and compliance center for some people and then separated for others, like, it's just a nightmare of trying to do it if you're trying to help people manage. On a side, even if you're not trying to help people manage, if you just go out there and look for like self-help stuff on Google and you just go and try to find a way, you'll literally find like instructions and screenshots that look nothing like your tenant, and it's very confusing to people. So being able to go through and get everyone on a similar experience, whatever that experience is, I'm all for.
Yay.
Awesome. Well, cool. Well, I think that is the show for today. There is nothing in the canceled category. So I'm impressed with the rate at which they're launching these things. So I'm super, super excited to see these things coming out. I think we'll keep seeing new things launching as we go. So another big week for Teams. I think over the next couple of weeks, we'll keep seeing some more things coming out. And I guess we will be back next week. Maybe we'll come from outer space or something next week.
I'll come from Egypt, because that's what I was coming from before we actually started recording. Like, I don't think you better do that. It's like, yeah, I may be opening a can of worms. Like, yeah, you can figure out the hack there.
Alrighty. Well, everybody, thanks for joining us today, and we will be back next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.